Welcome! Today we're going to be going through user groups in ProfitTrack and what they are and how to use them. So, as you can see on screen, I've got ProfitTrack at the moment, and if I go File, Log Out, I'm signed in as PT User. So I've created a user for myself called Jared with a password of 1996 with full access. So if I go into the users, you can see under user group, I'm an administrator. So is the user that I was in originally. Now, that means I have open access to everything, but what if I didn't want that? What if I wanted to lock it down? Well, I can do that. So we'll demonstrate this from the point of PT user as the admin of the account, and my account being the one that's going to be locked down. So if I scroll right down, and just to get here, it's set up system settings, system options. You've got user groups at the very bottom of system options. And here you can see we've got three types: administrators, transfers, and Dexter. What may already be in your system may differ depending on what version of the databases you had when you were installed, but you can just create them as needed, and that's what we're going to do right now. So what we'll do initially is just call it test. We can change it later, and we're going to go through all of the things we can lock down, and I'll demonstrate them. So first things first is you can lock down the maximum order value. So if you want an ordering user who is there specifically to order, you may not want to set a maximum, but you may want to just lock them down from everything else except for your orders and maybe your goods received, because those two kind of go hand in hand. But before we get to that, the bare minimum you need for a user to get into ProfitTrack is PT Client. So if we go through here, PT Client, that is the bare minimum needed just to get into ProfitTrack. So if I save that, go back into my users, change my Jared user to test, send that through to the registers because we have to send it through. And then if I sign in as Jared, I can't get into anything. I can open ProfitTrack and I can use that just fine, but there's nothing in it that I have access to doing, which is exactly what we'd expect, because like I said, what we changed was just the bare minimum to get into ProfitTrack, nothing else. So from here, it's what sort of user group you want set up. Is it someone that's going to be doing stuff in shop products? Are they going to be doing your inventory? That sort of thing. But we'll go through some of these and explain it. So shop products comes in threes. So if you want someone that's updating shop, you want shop products, you want register comms, and further down, edit sell prices and edit shop products. Now, the one in there that may not make sense is register comms. Now, the reason you want that is because, of course, once you've edited a product, you need to send it down to the registers. But on top of that, if you don't have that and try and go into shop with all the other shops, you'll get a quick warning message saying, hey, you're not able to send anything to the registers, but it'll still let you in and change things. But those are the things you would want for shop. Now, you could, of course, lock that down, so you could go, you know what, they're allowed to edit everything except the sell price, remove that. And that's fine too. So that's how you would start looking at it to build a user group. Now, a user group is just that. It's a group of users that do a function. So it's inventory users or stock control users or shop users to modify the shop file. And when you do have shop, like we just did there, that also encompasses your catalog. So if you want people doing things with your host maybe, and catalog pricing, that is how you would organize that. Now, the quick overview of all of this is that it doesn't lock down individual functions for the most part, right? It's not going to stop them from updating a supplier's RRP or cost, but it will stop them from updating the entire shop product record. The only exception to that is the sell prices in shop. Everything else is by a module, so you're not allowed to go into orders in its entirety, for example. You're not allowed to go into user groups or lookups or deals in its entirety. So that's not to say if I wanted a user that could just create deal type 1, that's not a thing. It's either they can create deals or they can't create deals. Now with all of these, generally speaking, if you're going to lock down user groups, you don't want to give them access to user groups. You always want to leave that out, because otherwise they could just go back in, change the group, and have open access again. So what I'll show here, just scrolling down a little bit, there's one in here for system options. There it is. So system options is the screen we're in right now. back in. So it'll now let me get into system options, but when I go down to user groups, boom. And that's again one of the few examples where it will lock down an individual function in a module. So that could be, hey, they're allowed to do pretty much everything, but they're not allowed to change their permissions. So going back, and it's just a trial and error thing, and I'll demonstrate. I just put in the password for Jared under PT user. If we go into that again, I've named it test for that particular reason, is that I don't know yet what it's going to be for. I want to have a play, and then once I've figured out roughly what I want, I can name it the most accurate to what the user group's going to be. I'll leave it as test for now. So what I'll do here is I'll add the things needed for ordering and general stock control, and I'll show you another thing. So orders, goods received, stock management, PD functions. You know what that should do? Cool. Now what I'll do is I'll also set a maximum order value of $500. Now this could work two ways. I'm choosing to use it this way, but you could also do it individually by supplier. So you could go add, choose your supplier, and then choose a value of a maximum for that supplier. I'm not going to get that in depth with it. It's pretty self-explanatory, but this one is just a blanket over everything. So now if I sign in as that user, go into my order management, create a new one. I'm not authorized. I've missed something. And this is the trial and error. So we know that that's not right. So we've missed something. Let's go back in, have a look. Register comms cannot hurt. I probably need access to products. There's a whole bunch of orders and GREC ones down here that I've missed. That's probably what it was. Cool. Let's try that again. Go into orders, create our new order. Manual order for now, that's fine. Yep, that's fine too. I'm going to just order an absurd amount of one thing, just for the sake of it. Now, obviously I've still got something wrong because it's popping up saying that I'm not authorized, but this is the warning that you'll get if you've ordered more than what you're allowed to on your user group. So I've tried ordering $15,820 worth, maximum's $500, so it can't be saved. As you can see there, we have 0. It didn't actually save what we put in. So there's quite a few limits when it comes to this, and a lot of things, as you've seen, go hand in hand. One without the other means a function won't work the way you expect it to. And shop being the main example of that, and I'll actually demonstrate that too. So in test, if I just remove all for now, I'll give myself access to shop. Where's my PT user? Oh, my PT client. There it is. I'm just going to give myself those two things. Alright. If I now swap over, now I know that this is going to give us errors because we tested it. So it will allow me into shop. It is going to give me this warning, like I said earlier. I'm not authorized to communicate with registers because I don't have the register communication, which we talked about. I click OK, it'll still let me into shop. I can still see things, I can still open them up, but that's it. It'll give me a warning, I can't change sell prices, I can't change anything in here. If I try and change this, I just added a space. If I hit save, it'll give me the warning. Can't do it, won't let me. That's the limit to it. So when you're having a play, make sure that you've always got a user to go back to. So you've noticed me here, I always go back to PT user. I'm never going to delete that user, especially while I'm in the method of, or in the moment of playing with things to get things working the way I want them to. And as I go down to user groups, administrators, you'll notice is actually ticked as maintain as administrator, which means they have full access to everything. And that is different to just having everything selected, just to keep something in mind there. Now, with that being said, we go, okay, it's going to be a shop user. So they don't need a massive amount to order because I don't want them to. I need to go through and give them register comms. I need to give them the sell prices and shop products. Sign in as a user in that group. Now no warning when I go into shop. No warning when I bring a product up. And I can change the sell price, even on the family. You're not in a group. Without a problem. So that is user groups, that's how to use them, that's how to set them up. If you'd like assistance with it, please contact professional services in Independent Solutions. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers!